Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm super excited about this video because these are all things that have been on my heart for some time now, even before the start of this new year. I feel like both my husband and I have just been changing, growing, maturing, I think in a lot of different ways. We're continually re-examining our lives and trying to figure out what's best for our family, and both of us just how can we live our lives more intentionally and with more purpose. And so with that, the title of this video is going to be 10 things I am quitting, and maybe things that you can quit as well this next year to simplify your life and hopefully add more joy and peace into your life.
So beautiful.
I hope this list could be beneficial for you. Most of these things on the list are things I've already started to implement, but they're also things that in this next year I want to be better at. Okay, so we're gonna start the list. The first thing I thought of something that I want to quit this next year to simplify my life is to limit the consumption of news that I take in. Our world is filled with just information overload. I don't feel like we were meant to know everything. It could really suck the joy out of you when you're trying to focus on the things that's right in front of you and you're hearing gloom and doom news all of the time. It could be hard to concentrate on the things that you have right in front of you. I think it's a good balance of not being ignorant to world events and things happening in our country. I think we should be somewhat informed so we could be praying, but at the same time, I also think that we should be very mindful with the news that we allow in, the sources that we allow in, and just the amount of information we allow in. The next thing I want to quit, impulsively buying things I don't need. There's a lot of sacrifices we have to make as a family to cut down costs. And so for me personally, just being mindful of my purchases, prioritizing the needs over the wants. I could be in my kitchen and be like, oh, this would be really helpful to have in the kitchen. Go to my Amazon account and within a minute, purchase, buy, and have it here tomorrow. It's so easy, and for a long time I've really struggled with it, and I could still struggle with it. I've started the habit of if I think of something that we need, I'll write it down and I'll wait a week or two. If it's still something that we need and I know my family can benefit from it, then I will purchase it. The next thing on my list is overcommitting. It's very easy to overcommit yourself and to overcommit your family. I think it's a balance of figuring out how to protect your time and use it wisely and also not be selfish of your time. I think the Bible is abundantly clear that we're supposed to serve each other. Before I just commit to something, I usually talk to my husband about it. I look at our schedules and sometimes I will pray about it because one, I don't want to commit to something and then have to say, actually, we can't do that, because I want to be a woman of my word. I want people to be able to trust my word, which I feel like I haven't always been good at. And also I don't want to put my family in a state of stress all the time because we're committing to a million things. The commitments that we have right now aren't necessarily a lot, but I know it's what we can handle in the season of life that we're in with having a baby and 4 kids. And I also want to be able to have flexibility and the freedom that when things come up, we could serve our neighbor better and use the extra free time we have to just be available for people that we love. The next thing on my list is comparison. This could seem like a cheesy one. I know probably everybody has heard the line that comparison is a thief of joy, but it really is. The more time I'm off of social media, which I have been off my Instagram for 3 months now, just the lighter I feel, the more content I feel. I really struggle with envy, and it can instantly bring me from a place of being filled with the Lord and full of joy to just a downhill pit. When I am comparing myself to my neighbor, other people through social media, whatever it may be, it makes me an angry mom, it makes me an angry wife. It takes my focus off of things that matter. It puts more of my focus onto myself, and the outcome is never good. So what I want to do better this year is to focus on what's right in front of me, focus on what God has given me and my family, not look to the left, not look to the right at what other people are doing, as cheesy as it sounds, not comparing my journey with other people's journey. What God has given for me in my life is different from what God has given to you, and that's a beautiful thing. The next thing is quitting excessive screen time. It has become an idol in my life, in my kids' life. We've already limited a lot of the screen time that we allow in our house, but it is something that we personally want to quit this next year even more. Reading more, spending more time as a family, playing games, board games, puzzles, cooking more, spending more time outside. Such beautiful things come from not staring at a screen all day, which leads us into our next one, which is aimlessly scrolling. If you've watched past videos of mine, you know that my phone is not a smartphone. I am very mindful with social media. I already mentioned, but I have been off of Instagram. It's been so good, and I almost feel like I may not ever go back on. We'll see. My husband is still not on Instagram. He's been off for, I think, 4 years now. I don't know. But he has no desire to go back on. But even without social media, it could still be really easy to scroll. And I think doing it in a way that feels zombie-like is just gross. Specifically this week, I've been trying to not be on my phone at all and just pick up a book every time I want to pick up my phone. And it's just so good. I don't know why I just don't do it more. Next thing is clutter. Quitting having the clutter. I'm gonna make a video soon of decluttering my house because it's something I desperately need to do right now. With the holidays and having a new baby, we have accumulated more than I want to. I feel like my house feels a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. And now I know what it feels like to live in a clutter-free home, which I feel like we had for a good while. I don't want to go back to living with clutter. Decluttering your physical space really does declutter your mind. Next thing on my list is friendships that don't bring life. I haven't had a problem with bad friendships really ever in my life until like a year ago. It sucked so much life and joy out of me, truly. I feel like the past 4 years of my life, I've been in stay-at-home mom, I'm lonely, I just need anyone to talk to kind of stage. I realized I became friends with a lot of people that I feel like our friendship was built around just keeping our sanity, if that makes sense. And they weren't really like in-depth relationships. And again, going back to like not overcommitting, I just realized I didn't want to commit to play dates and just hanging out with people that I knew was just like mindless hanging out. Rather, people that I knew that when I hang out with them, my cup is going to be filled, and hopefully vice versa. Friendships where we can encourage each other in the Lord and have meaningful conversations where it feels like I'm not just wasting my time with them, if that makes sense. And as my boys are getting older, I also want to be mindful of their friendships too, the people that I'm allowing into their lives. Okay, the next thing on my list is quitting laziness this next year. Now, I don't think I'll be able to completely quit it. It's very easy to be lazy. Again, I think it just comes down to, I feel like I sound kind of like a broken record, but I think just being more mindful of the time I'm given and intentional with just each day. There are so many times I choose to be lazy rather than doing the thing I know I'm supposed to be doing, or I can be lazy in the way I mother. Instead of disciplining the way I know I'm supposed to, I do it lazily. Or I could be a lazy wife. I could be a lazy friend. I think it's just making the most of the time that I'm given. Show my kids firsthand what it looks like to be a hardworking person in general. Even if my tasks may seem very mundane and small, taking care of the house, it doesn't seem like a very grand thing. It's something I don't take lightly, and it's something I take a lot of pride in because I know how much it impacts my family. The last thing on my list might be one maybe that you haven't thought of before. It's quitting the noise. I love podcasts. I love listening to music. I love music. I love playing music. I feel like there's always noise in my house. And to a degree, there is always noise in my house because I have 4 wild boys and they're always making noises. But I've realized that instead of always filling the void with things to listen to or fill my mind, just allowing more quiet is really good for the mind, for the heart, for the soul. There's amazing things to listen to, amazing music, amazing messages, podcasts to listen to. But sometimes all our soul needs is just quiet to get us to a place to just think and just be still. There's a beauty in the stillness. There's a beauty in the quietness. I don't want to miss out on that. I don't want to fill my brain with so much stuff that I don't have time to reflect on it, be alone with my thoughts and the Lord, and have that time to just meditate on His goodness. It's something that I am not good at all, and something I definitely want to quit this next year. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, for subscribing. If you have not subscribed already, it would mean the world if you did. I hope that this next year for you and I both, that this next year can be a year of just simple beauty and enjoying every moment that the Lord has given us.